it's a never-ending chase. Go look at any magazine, or I'm still talking from language from a million years ago, but we still have magazines. Any headline on anything you might read in your hand, but especially like in the magazines, we're always like, 10 tips to a healthier you, or 100 tips to a happier you, or a sexier you, or all these And I was realizing, I heard of a study recently, and the study had said that when we have an experience, it's not the intensity of the experience, but rather the frequency of that experience that actually determines whether you get the right? So in other words, we all have like big days that happen in our lives, and we think, people always ask this question, what was the happiest day of your life? And inevitably people will be like, the day I got married and the day my children were born, but you can't have that day every day. You can't have that intense experience every day. And so, that's not that doesn't actually bring us to a place of saying, yeah, actually, that happened twice in my life. I was the happiest, and then everything else was just. So to come into those places where we feel content and fulfilled, and the word happy that we often use is that it's not about how intense that feeling is, but how often you have that feeling. And how often you have it has to do often with putting yourself in the way of it, right? Making it happen for yourself in whatever way. The small little joys. I had a small joy in my life that I knew it was meaningful, but unfortunately, I will never have that experience again. I have inherited from my great aunt the little yellow Salt Cellar, little bowl that I remember my great grandmother, her sister, and her, it was on the stove, and they dug their hand into it, and from the time she left us, I had that as my salt cellar. So every single day for the past almost 24 years, 22 years, I don't know, a long time. I've stuck my hand in it, multiple times a day. I'm cooking or whatever. And I like the way it feels in my hand, I pull it out, all this. Well, yeah, I opened up the cabinet. Used to, at my old house, it sat somewhere because there was plenty of room for it. And so I also, could really look at it anytime I wanted. Now it's been in a cabinet. And I opened up the cabinet the other day, and I reached in, as I do, to grab a little pinch, and it just came with. And the next thing I knew, it's no more. And I know it's probably 100 years old, right? And I realized, oh, that was like an everyday little piece of connection, and a little piece of joy. And it really is that thing, that it's that everyday thing, not the big, intense thing. And in our practice, it's definitely that way too, because the yoga world is now completely full of mentality as well, right? Hotter, hotter and more intense, like an intensity of experience instead of a quality of experience and practice that's meant to be something that you do every, at whatever interval you do. Doesn't have to be daily, but that you do it consistently and over a long period of time. And it's not about how intense is this pose or intense is this particular class. And some classes are better than others. I know that. Sometimes I'm here and I'm like, wow, this, this one's right? But it's okay, because it's in a realm of I can't teach at that level of it being. Who could teach at the level of it always being right? And you can't practice at that level either. And so really, invite all of us to be in this place of saying, like, it is the consistency of the experience that's really creating a quality of the experience. And the consistency of enjoying the experience when it's happening, right? And so this really is the sadhana, the practice, which is to come at it again and again and again without needing to put an on it. So let's see what we can do about that. So close your eyes.